And first up, prices of petrol and diesel are expected to go up from tomorrow, June 16. That's according to the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. The expected increase in petrol and diesel prices for the second time is largely due to the 4.16% depreciation of the cedi to the dollar in the last 2 weeks. Here's Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Anwar, calling on government to remove some of the taxes on petroleum products to lessen the burden on consumers.
Second pricing window for the month of June is set to commence in a few hours, and what we pick from the markets, both locally and internationally, together with the forex bit, is that you are likely to pay a little more for petrol, pay a little more for diesel. LPG is likely to remain stable over the period. We are expecting between 2 to 5% for the second window, June, and this is simply informed by the forex position, which has seen the cedi from a previous position of averages 11.38 to current 11.87 if you do interbank. That is some 4-5% variance. Prices of the product itself has not increased. Unfortunately, the cedi would force all of us to pay a little more for the coming window.
Meantime, the price of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, is expected to see a reduction. Joining me is Gabriel Kumi, who is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Good afternoon to you. Grateful you could join us. So how significantly are we going to see prices go down?
Thank you very much, Darryl. Beginning tomorrow, which is the second window of June, we are likely to see between 5 to 7% decline in the price of LPG.
Well, that's quite significant. What is influencing this drop in prices?
Yes, if you look at the international price of the product, the window that closed on the 11th, we saw LPG, finished product of LPG declining by 11%. Indeed, it declined by 11.5%. Crude oil has seen a relatively stable in terms of pricing. We've been hovering between $73 to $76 per barrel over the past 2 weeks. Though the cedi hasn't been able to hold its own against the dollar, we expect that the significant decline in the price of finished product will impact negatively on the price of LPG, and it's expected that the price of LPG on the local market should go down by between 5 to 7%. If we are lucky, competition can even drive that further to about 10%. So beginning tomorrow, consumers should expect some respite in terms of the price of LPG.
What's the analysis or the speculation or the outlook for the finished products going forward? I ask this because we talk about the cedi and the fact that in the last couple of weeks the cedi has not been doing too well. For how long do we anticipate this reduction in the global prices to continue? And do you still consider the cedi a threat going forward?
The cedi is a major threat. I always say that the cedi, of all the factors that influence the price of petroleum products, the cedi is the only factor that we have control over. We don't have control over crude oil. We have no control over finished product of the international market. The cedi is our own. That is where we can control. So once we are able to control the cedi, we are likely to see some positives. But if we are not able to control the cedi with the price of crude oil, it will keep going up. So if your cedi is not under control, you should expect that the price of petroleum products will continue to go up. Even as we speak now, the window that began on the 12th, which will close on the 26th of this month, we have already seen the LPG declining by over 12%. But it all depends on the effect, the net effect of that decline, and then the cedi. If the net effect is positive, then we are likely to see some increase in the price of the product. But if it's negative, then we are more likely to see a further decline. So if we are able to stabilize the city, then even the next window, beginning 1st July, we may see some further drop in the price of the LPG.
In terms of market dynamics and the lull in the prices of finished products, for how long do we expect that to last? What are the dynamics at play?
It's all, again, it depends on finished products. They all come out of crude oil. If the price of crude oil is stabilized, then you should expect some stability in the price of finished product. But once the price of crude oil goes up, then obviously the byproduct of crude oil is also, the price of the byproduct of crude oil is also expected to go up. So, and again, we don't have control over the price of crude oil.
Exactly.
So we should just hope that crude oil price will continue to stabilize, or at best, we'll see some decline. If that happens and we are able to stabilize the city, then obviously we should expect some reduction in price of finished product on the international market, which translates into a reduction in price of the products on the local market.
Your association has made so much noise about easing the taxes on LPG, yet there is no favorable response, and it is getting tiring, isn't it? But recently, you asked to be considered in the Gold for Oil program. How has that advocacy gone?
We haven't heard anything. As we speak now, LPG is not part of the products being traded in the Gold for Oil deal. With our call for taxes on LPG to be scrapped, we will never get tired of that until that call is heeded through one day. Because we don't see the sense in putting taxes on the product that government has set an objective to increase its consumption. LPG is a daily product. It's a product being consumed by the masses. It's a mass product. If you want to encourage the use of that product, the only way you can do that is to reduce its prices so that you can attract a lot more people into the consumption net. So government's own objective can be achieved. As we speak now, the people who really consume LPG domestically are the middle income upwards. The lower income earners, which forms about 70-75% of the population, are not able to buy the product. And this is the market that you really need to attract, to be able to push government's agenda and to achieve government objective. But you can't eat your cake and have it. You can't set such a laudable objective to increase consumption and penetration, and at the same time you put taxes on the product to increase its price. So we will continue. It's been, yes, I agree with you. It's been such a long advocacy, but we will continue to do that. I'm sure one day somebody will see the sense in the argument we are making and take all these taxes from the LPG.
Just wondering, okay, in case the taxes are not taking off and maybe you're included in the Gold for Oil program, how would that impact on pricing?
I am yet to see the effect of the Gold for Oil deal on prices of petroleum products in Ghana. I don't really see it. I have maybe government should have this communication a little bit to explain how this Gold for Oil is helping reduce prices of petroleum products on the local market. I haven't seen it. So even if LPG is even included in the Gold for Oil deal, I have my doubt whether that can really bring down price of LPG, because with diesel and petrol, I haven't really seen the effect of that positive effect that we are all expected to see in terms of reduction in the price of diesel and petrol. We haven't seen that. So, I mean, all the reduction we've seen in the price of diesel and petrol is as a result of the fact that crude oil prices keep coming down, which results in the price of finished product automatically coming down on the international market. And that translates onto the product, the price of the product coming down on the local market as well. I am yet to see it. Maybe there is some benefit we are gaining in terms of prices. But as I said, government should up its communication and explain to the ordinary Ghanaian like me how that good for oil is really reducing prices of petroleum products on the local market.
At least we have some good news heading into the weekend. We are going to see prices of LPG drop for those making purchases this weekend. Grateful for your time. I appreciate that you could join us. Gabriel Kumi, Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Now, the visiting IMF staff are said to have made some significant progress on program engagement with government and other stakeholders. This is what Joy Business has picked up from persons with knowledge of the meetings. George Yafe has more.
The team is wrapping up its visit to Ghana today after being in town for almost a week. The IMF wants to describe this engagement as a normal staff visit, but Joy Business understands that it offered the team an opportunity to track government's progress in meeting some of the conditions under the fund program. One can talk about those quantitative and structural reforms that should be met by the end of June this year. This because when the IMF staff meets in November this year for the first program review, they'll be looking at how the country fared when it comes to meeting those benchmarks at the end of this month. Sources say there has been some challenges in meeting some of the conditions, but government insists these targets will be achieved at the end of this month. Some industry analysts have argued that Ghana will realize the full benefits of this program after it passes the first review for the second tranche of funds, $600 million, to be disbursed to government. The visiting IMF team should wrap up their last round of stakeholder engagement today to wrap up things before heading to Washington, D.C., USA.
Now, tomato sellers at the famous Techiman Central Market in the Bono East region are worried about the negative effects of the Boko conflict on their trade. Queen Mother of the Techiman Tomato Sellers Association, Nana Sewabonsu, says the conflict is adversely affecting their business as traders who travel to Burkina Faso through Boko risk losing their lives en route to their destinations. Now, correspondent Anna Sabit has been speaking with some of them and has come through with this report.
Boko has over the years been an important trading center due to the fact that it is close to two major borders, Togo and Burkina Faso. However, the recent Boko conflicts has scared many investors away from the once vibrant trading center. The effects of this seemingly unending conflict has gone beyond the borders of Boko, as tomato sellers at the famous Techiman Central Market who travel to Burkina Faso through Bupe say the conflict is slowly putting them out of business as these traders risk losing their lives en route to their destination. Nana Sewabonsu is the Queen Mother of the Techiman Tomato Sellers Association. The Boko conflict has affected us in diverse ways. Our trading counterparts up north are relocating to the south, and we have to risk traveling through Boko to Burkina Faso for tomatoes. Mama Faustina Donko on her part tells me that with the current happenings in the Boko enclave, the only thing that motivates them to embark on this risky trip is the current economic challenges within the country.
I am Sisia Papa, and ye hear pa and Yahotra, young Quadra. Sans a Bokun Toquano, yet what
if not for the economic crisis we are currently going through, we wouldn't have been embarking on this dangerous journey. When we watch the happenings on TV, we won't risk traveling there because even the Boko indigenes are moving out of the town. So we are appealing to government to intervene for peace to prevail. Until we return from our trip, we are always not at peace. Aside the difficulties the Boko conflict brings to these traders, the high cost of fuel prices at the pumps is also compounding to their economic woes. Ifia Uswa is a tomato seller here. She wants government to intervene by reducing the prices of petroleum products at the pumps.
Cars can in Tia by say at on a boarding. Sikasu system so be the Baba Tardy. And yes, Rabali Bebre say, wanted this there so many mamma from.
The high cost of diesel is collapsing our businesses. The prices of tomatoes now high due to the cost of petroleum products.
I feel so cry, been social box, but they say, this is Canary,
so we are appealing to government to come to our aid because we pay a lot of duty when we go to Burkina Faso, and this is honestly collapsing our tomato trade. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Teachman.
Now, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana says it will strengthen ties with its research partners to consolidate efforts of players within the space for quality services. This institute says will feed the Ghanaian public with relevant research information to improve on the quality of life and enhance the image of Ghana. Speaking at the 33rd Annual General Meeting, patron of the institute, Professor Stephen Adai, called on members to inculcate integrity in their daily activities.
The Institute said it is committed to investing time and other resources into ensuring innovations and continuous improvement in the award scheme.
One of the things I have found is whether it's a personal brand or an institutional brand or a product or service brand, at the end of the day, integrity wins. You can have a short period of rise, but if you are not a man or a woman of integrity, your product cannot stand the test of what you claim for. Very soon you lose out. So that's all that I want to say first, is that integrity pays. Sometimes the payment comes very late, but when it comes, it's always solid. And you will be an individual whose name will be in the memory of your family, of your institution, of your country.
President for the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Dr. Daniel Kasati, said the institute will continue to court non-professional marketing practitioners and lecturers to enroll for certification as a way to strengthen professional and ethical practices.
Yes, certainly was better than the previous because of the effects of the lingering effects of COVID-19, which still hampered the operations of businesses. We deal largely with corporate organizations, and so the effects of the environment on their businesses also affected us a lot. That notwithstanding, we were able to, carry through most of our programs. We successfully last year, the most important, were able to organize our newly launched examinations twice last year for June and then December, recording one of the very best performances so far, and we are excited about that. We have been able to enroll a good number of students. We started with 91. Coming to June examinations, we have approximately 670 students.
The CIMG maintained that it will complete its digitization process at the Secretariat by the end of the year, with further enhancements to all projects.
Faithfully observe the statutes, bylaws, regulations, and decisions of the Institute.
With artificial intelligence taking shape on the continent, corporate institutions have been urged to leverage it to ensure productivity. According to Chief Executive Officer for Web and Software, Philip Game, artificial intelligence can aid businesses in streamlining job processes and aggregating data. He spoke to Joy Business at a press briefing on assessment of strategy and impact of artificial intelligence on corporate Ghana.
Companies must find an innovative way to be able to glean powerful insights from what is happening around them in their finance data, in their sales data. AI has the ability to predict what is going wrong so that you can create a fix. And also the last area and most important area is evaluation. Most companies will not be able to invest heavily in R&D to evaluate and monitor progress towards their goals. Strategies are formulated at the beginning of the year. Latest by May, June, everything begins to die out, and they are thinking about hampers to distribute to clients in December. We cannot continue this. The world is not sleeping and working around the clock. It's important to evaluate. End of year reviews must be a thing of the past. Real time, we can learn from the data whether management interventions, policies, programs are working or not working, whether our target is being realized, and where we ought to be based on the statistics need to be issues we consider. So one would ask, what should an AI strategy include for the corporate entities? They must look at the potentials. AI has become so available and accessible. So every company must identify the use cases for each department, for each role. They must identify the use cases in which AI can be used to optimize the productivity and performance levels of its managers and workforce. If you don't do it, you would be left out.
Now, Ghana's automobile industry has faced considerable delays in development due to supply chain disruptions in major automotive production hubs over the years. As a result, some players are calling for more capacity building for young engineers within the space to ensure sustainability. Here's James Ishen with this report.
Axles, tires, batteries, all these components are coming alone, and so all these components are being fixed here on the vehicles. So the vehicles come in containers usually, and then we do the unloading into our assembly plant, and then we do the whole assembly process, also taking into consideration all the quality standards and all the standards that are being implemented by the OEM, by the manufacturer. So we have to make sure that all the quality standards are being respected, and then we also have a quality control department that will check on each and everything that has been done. If it was done according to standards or not, then it gets marked that it was done before it goes and does all the testing required before it is finally approved for sales or for sending it to the showroom to be displayed for sales.
Are there any challenges within all these lines?
Actually, no, because we've been training our guys even before the assembly plant was commissioned. Okay. We've been training them for more than 9 months. So we had people come from outside, abroad from the manufacturer to teach them, train them on each and every aspect. We also went through a lot of trainings internally where they had to move from one place to the other within our organization. We also have our own training center, which has been there for the last few years. So also this helps us a lot in transferring the knowledge to them. Definitely they have two guys on top of them, one production manager and one quality manager, which from abroad, which have more experience, and they are all these knowledge that they know that is being transferred to our local staff. So in the future we can have more and more experience. And of course, as I said in the beginning, building capacity is the most important thing. So we are focusing on that training as much as possible so we can build that capacity so we can move forward in the future.
Talking about training, is it one
area this particular industry is lacking?
Actually, I can say I'm pretty much really involved in the training. Actually, I also sit on different in different places, like with COTFED. I sit as a vice president on the SSB, the sector skills body for automotive, especially concentrating on the training. Also, as I said, we have our own training facility, which is sponsored also by GIZ and by Bosch. It's called the West African Vehicle Academy, where we also, give a lot of courses. So within all these areas that I'm involved in, I've been really trying hard to build a system where we can also build our capacity here in Ghana, so we can become more and more, I would say, certified and more capable in the future.
One of the key drivers of the automotive industry in the country has been the government's commitment to improving the business environment and promoting foreign investment through its automotive development policy, which seeks to make Ghana a fully integrated and competitive industrial hub for the automotive industry in the sub-region.
All right, James Asian's report on Ghana's automobile industry. Before we go, just a quick update on our website, myjoyonline.com. We've got the day's latest stories from over there, including this story on artificial intelligence we brought you. There's also high cost of utility tariffs, unbearable, Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association lamenting that. You can read more about it, myjoyonline.com/business. We have an active news feed over there. My name is Darryl Carl. Thanks for watching The Marketplace. We will be back same time tomorrow.